I'm the Crow.
I'm an underwater guy from that movie with Robert De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, Maid of Honor? And we doing spooky
Spookies.
Roundup.
Oh, spectacular.
We wanted more Spookies. And Jules didn't get to wear a costume yet, so here we are doing more Spookies. And drugs. I don't know.
It's me.
Did you know it was him? I shaved my face for this, and my kids hate me now.
Oh, yeah.
So we did 5 more movies. That's right, 5 movies. You can't get a footlong for 5 anymore, but you can do 5 movies in a spooky roundup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Shamrock Shake. It's so good.
All right, 5 hits. We're starting with... You're in charge. We're starting with... Hereditary.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting episode because I'm going to try to steer us through 5 movies consecutively.
Last year we watched Beau is Afraid for a spooky short. We loved it.
Yeah.
Here's my impression of Hereditary.
Yeah. Yeah. This movie was not what I expected and went in directions I didn't anticipate.
He texted me. He said, I think that little girl is the clone of the grandma.
Mm-hmm.
So
turns out she wasn't, but she was possessed by Pie Man.
I think, yes. I think both her and the demon are in the brain at the same time.
Yes, because it needs a man.
Yep. I saw this movie opening weekend.
Yeah.
Scariest movie of the year, they say. Everybody hypes it up. They're going to be like, you shit your pants. Jason, you shit your pants. So I went to it with Ben, and...
He threw a fit and started trying to fight somebody.
Correct. That, and then also the movie was built up too much, so I hated it because I felt taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And I was like, when is it going to get scary?
Hit me with that synopsis.
Hereditary. Rural mom and miniature artist Annie, Toni Collette, is grieving the loss of her bitch mother, only to lose her head when her teenage son Peter inadvertently kills his sister and Annie's younger child Charlie, Millie Shapiro, in an automobile accident. Annie tries to channel the spirit of Charlie, and everything goes to heck, proving you can choose your friends, but not your hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so her mom's dead.
Her mom is dead. Cancer? Did they say? I don't know if they say.
But they rain gold coins upon her.
Consumption?
No.
Or dad starved himself to death?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And Toni Collette's brother killed himself when he was 16.
Hung himself in his mother's bedroom.
Because she was putting people in his head.
Yeah.
So... Grandma's dead.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a hard time with it. Weird little daughter seems to be taking it extra hard because they were super close. She's a super creep.
Are you done?
Almost.
So maybe we finish the toy after the quiz.
Charlie.
Is she clicking through the whole movie?
Yes. And her mother, apparently when Toni Collette first had Charlie, she wanted to breastfeed her. Her mother did.
She wanted to control every facet of Charlie's life.
And you see a miniature recreation of that. Gabriel Byrne is her husband.
Burn. Yeah.
And he's great. Oh, hey.
He's very muted. He's not really there much, but maybe that's who you'd be.
I guess the son and the mom have a contentious relationship. He's a little bit of a douche. He reminds me of Five from Umbrella Academy.
He's from the Naked Brothers band.
Nickelodeon.
I don't know what that is.
I thought this kid, I was like, this guy's a real good actor. Where'd he come from?
I don't see him as either of their child, physically.
He's got Gabriel Byrne's dark hair. And
dark hair. You got Gabriel Byrne dark hair.
Yeah, I'm his son.
So basically the kid's, he's a little bit of a weirdo, but the teenage boy, but he's just a teenage boy.
But he's also, everybody's coping with the hereditary trauma that's coursing through the family.
Right.
His mom almost killed him when he was little.
Yes, we'll get there.
Okay. He smokes
a lot of marijuana.
Right. He's self-medicating. That's what we were doing in high school.
There's a weird chick in his class. It's like she's ice grilling him, but maybe she's also a little flirty, and then she just vanishes. So one night, he's trying to go to a party.
Now, the problem is when he wants to go to the party, he's like, it's a school function, Mom.
Yeah. No drinking. He goes, no, I ain't going to be drinking. And she goes, well, all right, we'll take your sister.
She's 13?
It's a school function. Yes.
Why would you ever bring your 13-year-old super weird sister with?
You think he'd just be like, oh, Mom, I'm not going to go then. But he calls her bluff and takes his weird 13-year-old sister who has nut allergies and likes to make toys and cuts off heads of pigeons.
I feel like he's right there. Are you right up there?
It's got the best seat in the house.
I guess so. Yeah, she does. That bird, there's a bird that flies into the window of her classroom, and she's like, all right, take note of that bird being dead.
Yep.
And then she goes out to the bushes and finds it, looks at it for a minute. And then the scissors they showed in the classroom, she cuts the head off, takes it.
Yeah, so her hobby is making toys or dolls.
Because she's half Paimon.
Because she's half Paimon, yeah.
And this is what happens with that body. You see a body at the end that's like a head.
Well, and because right when she cuts off the head, she turns around.
Sticks in her mouth?
No, she looks across the street through a fence, and there's an old woman smiling and waving at her. So they go to the party, and he's getting doped out, and he goes up to the room with that chick, and the girl decides to have cake, even though she's like totally like, I don't want to be here, and we're all like, yeah, you shouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. And then she eats the cake, but of course it's inundated with nuts.
Yeah.
And so she comes up to her broheim, and she's like, I can't breathe.
Incorrect. She does not come right up to her broheim. She knows right away it is nuts, and she still sits around like a turd for a while before she seeks out help.
Yeah, I said, and then she goes up to her broheim. I didn't say right away. Oh. Tricked you. And he goes, oh, fuck, and he grabs her up.
It's tender. I like it with the way he carries her. I feel brotherly love in that moment.
And everybody's like...
It's tragic.
He's driving. And she's just like, I can't breathe. And then she decided, we saw a pillar earlier, a light post.
Pulling at her throat and like kicking the seat. It's really disturbing.
Yeah, and he's just high and freaking. And then it's foggy out. She puts her head outside the window to get some air.
Check it out, because the air will be forced down your non-existent throat hole now. Yep. Right?
She goes face first into the light post.
Second time I laughed in this movie. I laughed really hard when her head...
It's hard not to. So she's dead, and the brother doesn't know what to do except to go home, leave the dead body in the car.
Yep, that's what you do.
So he just goes to bed. He's like, oh, I'm really tired. It's weird. And then Toni Collette gets up in the morning. She's like, I'm about to go to the store.
Where's your sister?
I love my daughter so much. And then she goes out to the car. She's just like, and then it cuts to the head with flies buzzing about it on the road. It's pretty brutal. She's the bro gets up and he's walking around, feeling sorry for himself. And he looks into his mom's room, and David Byrne in spirit, is consoling her, and she's just thrashing on the floor. I want to die. I wanna die. And the boy's just like, but then she goes to the grief thing again, and the woman who's there is like, you haven't been here. I'm totally gonna insinuate myself into your life. Give me a call. And then she sees her when she's getting crafts, Joan, and she goes, oh, hey, Joan. And she goes, oh my God, Toni Collette, I'm so jazzed up. I did this medium thing. We see a flyer for the medium in the mail, by the way. And she goes, girl, come to my house right now.
It's going to be great.
And they go to her house right now. And she's like, yeah, let me just light this candle. And I got this weird language. I don't know what it is. Why
don't you try saying it, though?
I totally said it. And now I'm just going to be like, hey, son, are you there? She doesn't have to do anything except turn on the candle. And she's just like chilling. She's skeptical, but she's like maybe slightly optimistic when the seance is going on. And then all of a sudden, like, shit's occurring.
Louis, if you're here. Hi, Louis.
Her hair is being brushed by gusts and stuff's moving about. And she's just flipping out. And it is a performance like none other.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
She's really, really good in this movie.
Can I say something that's really interesting to think about when you watch this is if it wasn't this horrible situation in the movie and that little girl Charlie was just like a weirdo, like exactly the same, but like no demons, those kids grow up to be like functional people in society. Like that little freak show, 100% freak. You want nothing to do with this kid. I bet she smells real bad. She's so creepy.
Yeah.
Dude, fast forward 15 years, you'd never know that. Could go any direction. She could be like a little quiet person at a job that everybody likes, or she could be the life of the party. She could be very good looking. Everybody likes her.
She could be the next 80 Bryant.
A.D. Bryant was known for keeping quite a few bird heads around.
Yeah, that's why I went there. So she's like, I'm freaking out. I'm going to get up out of here. And she goes, well, read these words when you get home, though, please.
Everybody has to be home when you read them. Make sure you read them in the house and everybody's home.
Except they aren't.
No.
Freak out
She
at
does
dinner.
it. She does it in the bathroom late at night when everybody's sleeping.
Salve. Paimon. Rex.
That's
Okay.
letting the demon in, right?
And then eventually she's like, holy shit, I think I opened up like the gates of hell or whatever. I'm totally sorry. The son, he's freaking out. He has a smile moment while he's in class.
So much so that it caused food lines for decades. This is where
He looks at his reflection and he's just smiling at himself.
His mom screams at him about him smirking at her when he's not. And I thought I read somewhere on Reddit that like she always sees him as the smirking demon, even though he's not doing it. And I thought that was an interesting take.
That is very interesting. And her mom's body was desecrated, but we don't know how.
Yeah, they don't
only
tell
the
you.
Dad knows.
He's like, what do you mean? She's only been there a week, man.
So then she goes upstairs for some reason. There's a dead body in the corner, surrounded by like writing, and it doesn't have a head.
Yeah, is it bugs? What does lead her up there? Bugs? Wind?
For some reason, she goes up there, but when she opens it, a bunch of bugs do come out.
Very big rat?
Yeah.
Probably a very big rat.
Probably it's like and so she's like, oh my God. And she runs downstairs and Gabriel Byrne's like, girl, you are tripping.
Oh, there's a body up there? Yep, I see it
And
now.
he goes, oh fuck. You did it.
I can't enable you to be a crazy person.
You dug up your mother?
I'm calling the police.
I lit this book on fire and it caught me on fire, but we got to burn it. And I don't care if I get caught on fire, but you got to do it.
Let's everybody remember, Paimon is a trickster demon.
Trickin'. And he goes, this is stupid.
I'm not going to do this with you anymore.
And she goes, all right. Throws it in the fire and he just bursts into flames. And she's just like, you know.
Well, that's the moment, right? That's when the lights click in her eyes and she's taken over by Paimon now.
Is it?
Yeah. This movie does a really good job of making Toni Collette seem like a completely insane person as the movie ramps up.
But sympathetic.
Right, but like by the time she's like moving around in that white outfit, acting like a crazy person marching around, I would have taken my son and fled.
Yeah.
I would not be going back to that house.
And so she's like bugging now. She's like, I need you to do something or whatever. And she's running up on him and he runs upstairs to the attic. At which point he discovers the body is not there.
And she doesn't tell him she doesn't do anything. She's just torturing him.
But
she's like
there's-
running around chasing him. It's so scary. She's like behind him and he's like looking around. He looks, she's gone.
Oh, she's in
and
the
then
ceiling.
She's like there and she's like, ha! And she races after him and he takes off. It's so scary. She doesn't say shit
And
to
then,
him.
but this is great because when he's upstairs, he sees there's candles everywhere. The body isn't there, but there's like markings and shit. And it's just bang, 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 bang. And then we see she's floating, just fucking Tommy knocking the hell out of her brains on that fucking, entryway.
It's really disturbing and scary.
It is. And then it stops. I'm like, this is like better than, but reminds me of when the Babadook was good for a brief period. I'm just like, and then it just stops. But we see a nude person hiding in the background. And then there's another nudie. And then there's more nudies. And then the boy just jumps out the window.
He sees his mom floating at the ceiling, cutting her own head off with piano wire.
Oh, that's right. When was that?
She's floating. It's right before he falls at the window.
He doesn't fall.
He's surrounded. Oh, he does throw himself out. He
Yes.
jumps, yeah.
Which is what the window's right there. Fuck,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have just, I would have like tried to land on my feet. You jump out like this, like you're Captain America.
Yep.
And then you hit and you roll and you're just parkouring out of there.
Nice.
So then the boy just falls on the ground and then we see his spirit leave him. And then a light goes into the small of his back. And then he wakes up and he's like, what's going on here? Yeah, he does that.
It's amazing because then you see like him looking around. Aren't the people lined up everywhere?
Yeah, they're all like in the trees.
And then he sees his headless mom floating to the treehouse.
Just
floating up into there.
That was fucking jacked.
Do you love that?
I do.
People were talking shit about that in the Reddit threads I looked at yesterday. Too.
I was like, this is the most I've been enraptured by a movie in a while. And so, yeah, he climbs up the ladder, and there's like all these people up there, and they're chanting. And
His mom's in there and his grandma,
yeah,
dead, knelt down to the shrine. Is it him? It's him because it's Charlie's head.
It's like Christ. I thought it was the dead mom's head.
I don't really know.
It's really fucked up, but I don't know.
So now Paimon is here to rule the earth.
The movie's over.
This movie is a real bummer. I feel so bad for the whole family. I feel especially bad for the boy because I think that the damage that is going on really shreds him up. He's like just a shell of a person.
Yeah, and there's a good chance. Well, I guess his spirit left him, so maybe he's not in there witnessing whatever is going to happen for the rest of his, life or whatever.
I imagine hell on earth.
Probably.
God, and he looks like a grown man boy, right? Like he looks like a man, sort of. But like, there's so many little moments where he's scared like a little boy. Like the truth of you need your family. You're scared. You don't know what's happening. Like when he looks to his dad when the mom is doing the seance and freaking him out.
Please stop!
It's so sad. He's such a little boy at 16, 17 or whatever stuff.
Yeah.
This is a real sad movie.
And I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah. I could definitely see watching it again of my own volition.
All right. So what's your score on the movie?
I'm going to give it an 8.
As a movie?
Yeah.
What do you give it on the Spookometer?
Honestly, I'm going to go with a 4.5.
I'll give it a 7.5 on the movie rating. That imagery is pretty good, though.
It is.
I wouldn't say it was tense. I was scared, but I'd already seen it.
It was taut.
I'll give it a 5 because her banging her head. There's a lot of pretty creepy moments.
There are.
Make my skin crawl.
Yeah.
All right, that's Hereditary. What's next, Julian?
Next is The Birthday.
The Birthday.
Never heard of this movie before like 2 weeks ago.
He never heard of it until he heard of it, and then he told me, so I heard of it too.
It did get a minute, some sort of a release in Spain because they filmed it in Spain.
There's some really mean reviews on IMDb.
That's insane because, and I was thinking this, obviously. And then I read an interview where Corey Feldman had said this, obviously. This could have fucking propelled him back into that weird niche. Much like Crank with Corey Haim before he had a heart attack subsequently after filming it.
All right, I'm trying to be cool to you, but I will. Drop the hammer. You want to drop the hammer, baby?
This movie is great. I'm going to say it.
It's terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I liked it a lot.
Corey Feldman, who knew? Because I've seen Lost Boys 3, which was very recent.
I'm sorry, lady. You must have me confused with somebody else.
I'm Gwen Lieber.
Hi.
Okay, a couple things.
Yeah.
He has an insane amount of credits. I thought that Feldman must have stopped acting at some point. Not the case. He has been a caricature of whatever I think he is for 30 years.
Yeah.
This fucking long-haired Michael Jackson, this glam rock weird shit.
He really coasted on that Michael Jackson shit.
To see him looking like he does in this movie, this is what I want from Feldman.
Yeah.
I want him to be a regular guy.
Yeah.
And good for him for being able to milk being a weirdo for so long. Because he's old now, and he's still doing it. He's good in this. I don't know if he's not great. I can't tell. It's confusing.
It's a very specific character that's hard to, shine through.
Whose choice do you think that voice was?
The dress. It's beautiful. It's great.
My hair.
I don't know because nobody else is doing it. It's it's like 30s, 40s noir gumshoe.
The movie is odd. There's an odd tone that works really well for it.
The movie was made in 2004. It got a minor release overseas, and it was never released theatrically here. And Corey Feldman always believed it was because the executive producer, he apparently had stated this, but he wanted to be guaranteed a theatrical release that would allow him to recuperate production costs. Hit me with that synopsis.
The birthday. Do not miss this opportunity. It comes once in a lifetime. Norman Forrester, Corey Feldman, is nervous about meeting his girlfriend, Allison Fulton, Erica Pryor's parents, at a family birthday he wasn't even originally invited to. As he tries to make the best of a difficult situation and make an even better impression, outside nebulous forces conspire to bring about Armageddon as their gift at the birthday.
The birthday.
How far in are we?
We're 45 minutes in.
Well, we're really nailing the 15 minutes of movie.
So the basic idea is Corey Feldman's dating this woman. She had been in Europe for an extended period of time. She just got back, and she's going to the birthday party of her
dad.
Uncle?
Dad.
And he's a real interesting feller.
He's doing a weird thing too,
because he's got the hole in his throat.
Did not notice that.
So this is their hotel. They've owned it for like 25, 30 years or whatever. It's going to be closed and blown up or whatever later in the not too distant future. So she's with Feldman. He's nervous as fuck. He's not feeling incredibly well. He's on antibiotics.
I'm taking antibiotics.
It's his first time meeting her folks. She doesn't really feel like she wants him there. He's got some sort of a gift that he's going to give her. I don't think we ever see what it is. Looks like a book of some sort, maybe, or a book-sized box.
Necronomicon.
Yeah. And he's nervous. She gives him a glass to take his pills, and then he's walking around the glass for like the next 10 or 15 minutes. At one point, he goes to the ballroom, and somebody bumps into him, and he drops the glass, and it bounces up, and he catches it, and then he's looking at it like, what the hell? And so I'm thinking, all right, this is my kind of a movie. And he's just being shuffled around, and the mom's there, but she's like a diva, and everybody's trying to make sure everything's perfect, and the maitre d's and waiters are just like everywhere.
You never do get much of a feel for that mom. Yes,
No.
within the first couple minutes of this movie, just in the hotel room with that discussion with his girlfriend, you're like, I think this movie might be good.
Yeah. And it feels old. It's probably somewhat also has to do with the quality of the rip. It's almost got like a Four Rooms kind of vibe going on.
No one wants Norman to lose his finger. We just want to chop it off.
Very early, sort of Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino kind of vibe. Some dialogue. It's not super stylized or heavy, but it's weird. There's also a party going on involving some pharma bros that Corey Feldman knows, at least one of them.
Yeah, it's the one guy.
And they mentioned that they have been like doing trial things.
Did you think that the rest of this movie was he had been drugged from that shaker he drank from?
I did.
And it was all, you never thought that it was all imagined? Oh man, that's what I was leaning towards. Because he takes a swig off that shaker when that guy hands it to him.
He does,
And
'cause
it's
he's
pretty
shaking.
much right after that's the problem.
And the guy's kind of a douche, but
He's a
there
huge
are
douche,
some
but
genuine
friendly.
moments where he doesn't set you up for failure.
Yeah.
You know, and he goes, oh, he's like, hey, don't worry. Whoa, you're really shaking, man. Hey.
When they go out and have the heart-to-heart talk in the hallway.
Norman, if what you want to find out, if there's any shit under the rug, you're gonna have to lift it up, man.
You know what? You're onto something.
It's like, this guy's a fucker, but like they like each other. They're high school friends, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. And they also know Feldman's girlfriend from
yeah.
high school.
And they're all of his bros are running around with like their shirts open and off. It's getting like progressively more homoerotic.
Sexy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. And he goes, well, I'm going to go back down to the potty because I'm going to go give her a gift. He's like, yeah, you do that, man. You fucking do that, Corey Feldman. He goes, yeah, I'm going to go do that. And he goes down there and it's just...
You're Mike Tyson.
Yeah. It's progressive. It feels like, almost like I'm watching this and I'm like, what did I read that made me think this was like slightly horror?
Right, because it very much seems like a cringe comedy where he's ping-ponging back and forth and like things are weird and awkward and he's just being rejected left and right.
Yeah.
And people are just a little bit mean to him at all times.
Right, he goes for a drink, but it's out of reach. And
Or the waiters like knock him over coming out of the elevator. Like that happens several times.
it feels like Four Rooms. It feels like the Marx Brothers in a weird way.
I feel like this is all a wonderful setup to slowly ratchet things up because you really are hanging out with him in the weirdness for a long time before things seem to get borderline serious.
Yeah, everything is weird. but it's an appropriate mild level of weirdness where nobody seems like they're out of place in this world.
Is that good? You like that? Oh my God.
So you don't know, are they bad? Is she bad? Who's bad? And he's telling them about the dolphin technology.
The dolphin voice decoder.
The dolphin voice decoder.
How'd you know about this? Did you invent it?
Yeah.
I read it in a pamphlet.
I
We
was
went
there.
to SeaWorld.
Yeah. They stole it. And he goes, what do you do, young man? And he goes,
Work in a restaurant.
oh, yes. What kind?
Pizza.
Ah, excellent. An Italian restaurant.
But anyone listening would think you were an expert in dolphins.
So it's just back and forth, back and forth. There's one fucking elevator in this hotel that the father and uncle own and maybe built. When they bring out this huge cake that's a facsimile of the apartment or the hotel, all of a sudden at the same time, 4 or 5 guys are bringing in an enormous wooden crate.
I thought there was going to be like an ancient evil inside that crate when
Coffin.
they came in.
I'm like, oh, it's a vampire
Are
movie.
they ghost hunters too? Like they have devices?
Those guys, yeah, they come by with like cameras that look specially built and jumpsuits.
Yeah, what ended up being in that case? We don't see it.
The machine.
The machine that's in the kitchen later?
Yeah, the tuning fork machine.
Okay.
He goes, that's upside down. So you're thinking like, okay, something's going on. The dad's probably involved.
His
The
girlfriend
brother-
seems like she's involved or will be the victim / birther of the end of the world.
Yeah, because they give you a little bit of a red herring when he starts to take charge a little bit. So at some point he goes down some stairs and he ends up in a boiler room where they're literally shoveling coal into a huge furnace. And they start coming at him. Hey, wait, guys, hang on a second. And then boom, crank. Guy who looks like Sam Lake, he's just like, I'm going to tell you a story.
Everybody working at this hotel, the manager, the waiters, everybody, they all belong to a very dangerous sect called the Children of Ikiroa. According to their belief, their god is going to be born here tonight.
Here's a gun.
Wow,
a gun?
I was thinking about how am I going to do that voice? And
Yeah.
you did it. So
He's
good.
like, oh boy, there's going to be multiple phases. At first, the guy's going to have a heart attack and faint and die. And then he's going to be resurrected. And then he's like, what about the third part? And they fight a little bit more. And then he goes, and he goes, wow. So then he goes, I need you to go up to the roof and take the fire escape down. It's the only way out. The rest of the hotel's locked. And he goes, fuck! And he throws the gift off the thing. And he comes down and he runs into the guy a couple more times and they're trying to plot this thing and it's going to happen. And don't you feel the pulsating? Woo, woo, woo.
Gets more urgent and panicky and he gets more sold on it as time goes on.
Yeah, and then when his girlfriend, he takes charge and she's like totally turned on. She tries to bang on him in the elevator. He's like, hold on, I love you. And she goes, oh God, I don't love you.
No.
And she goes, oh, by the way, I have this huge thing on my body.
And I'm also not really your girlfriend.
Yeah. That I thought the huge thing on her body
Was the thing.
was the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it was a tumor?
I don't know, because it doesn't seem to really make any difference.
New vagina?
It's just an ingrown hair, 75,000 feet long.
She falls apart. You pull it out and it just... That was good. That was probably at least 11 feet.
So now what we know is that the waiters are all in some sort of a cabal.
Mm-hmm.
And
the whole place is sealed up tight. If you try to leave, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
They're already killing plenty of innocent people.
they've already got a machine going. Somehow it relates to the young boy in the wheelchair. His farmer bros are all drugged out.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the guy in the wheelchair? Did
I don't
they
know.
never say? They're just like, he just says, he's involved and I know he's an important part of this.
Yeah. He goes, the kid in the chair. And what happens is, it turns out that it's the wait staff. They're in this cult, and the dad and the mom, none of the family are aware of what's happening. They're the victims as well, because his brother does have a heart attack and dies. And so the machine's running rampant. And all of a sudden, Corey Feldman touches it. Now it's just like droning for like 3 to 5 minutes.
Did the biggest shit of his life. It was
people are like thrashing, and a woman's pushing a guy's head in her coochie area.
Is that really happening?
Yeah.
Oh, in the basement with the party?
In the ballroom, yeah. She approaches him earlier.
Yeah.
Then later, when everything's going amok, you see them making out.
Is it Robert Wong, the kid?
Yeah.
He's like gently he's in the background.
Sort of stabbing a guy?
Somebody.
Yeah.
But it's like a little kid is just doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah, and I think the
like
guy even grabs it and it's like, no, I know.
That's like the only real flaw in this movie is that kid.
Mm-hmm.
That one moment where I'm like, nobody thought, well, they only get one shot. I don't know.
Yeah, and it feels like a oneer because it's happening and it's like discombobulating. It reminds me of the church scene a little bit in Kingsman. He's like, all right, I got to do something. And the dad's like, tell me, man, I didn't believe you before, but now I need to know. And they're just beating him up and shit.
I respect you, pizza boy.
And he goes, we got to kill your reanimated brother. You got to kill him. And now at this point, all the farmer bros, they basically, this reminds me of Suspiria. They all like are now the moving mechanism for the dead uncle's body. And they're just like all around and shit, you know? They go, oh, they're going to come for his closest kin. And the dad goes, that's me. You got to kill me. And he goes, ah, shit. And he goes, here's a pen. And he just goosh right into his...
This is supposed to be a gift.
Right into his throat hole.
You did.
And he dies and the beast collapses. And
but the daughter,
then
Corey
like
Feldman's girlfriend's like...
He's still fucking jacked up. And he like smashes something on the stage. The lounge singer act is really good in this movie too.
He smashes the speaker with that axe.
Yeah. And they go, it's not over. It's not over. The body amorphous blob of human farmer bros does absorb the wheelchair kid. Doesn't seem to do anything. And so she's now being drawn to it. And somebody's like, the priest. He goes, you got to take this axe and do it, man. And he goes, oh, shit. I can't do it. And he goes, you got to do it. And she's looking back at him like, you got to do it.
Otherwise, Paimon's going to take over.
And he's got the axe. And now everybody's like crowded around him like, do it, do it, do it. And he's like, he winds up.
I'm a big fan. I was watching it. I was like, you know what? This is a really nice movie in that it's interesting. It's different. The performances are fun to watch and also interesting. This movie's got a ton of things going for it.
Yeah, it looks good. It feels good. Everybody's cool.
I imagine that if you clean this up, if there is a Blu-ray release and they clean it up so it actually looks like how it looked, I bet this is really artful and nice to look at because the DVD rip it's a little bit shitty.
I would give this movie a definite 8.
I will give it another 7.5. I enjoyed it a ton. It was a nice treat. I liked it. It ramped up well. Maybe it probably does deserve an 8. It's a neat movie.
It kind of reminds me of The Void a little bit.
Yeah,
and how it builds and builds towards this.
Better than The Void. The Void was interesting and creepy, but the story really wasn't that great.
Yeah,
it was just
really
like a delivery vehicle for
effects.
Funkiness. What you say? I say 7.5. You say 8. What do you give it on the spookography?
Spookometer. I give it a 1.5.
Yeah, I give it like a 2.
Yeah. We are 63 minutes in and we've only done 2. So our next movie is The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I watched it again that it was directed by Joel Schumacher.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, it's got all that Schumacher flair to it.
I don't think I've really watched it since I was young, and back then I would never even have bothered to pay attention.
I think I saw it a million times, and then I watched it in college, and then not since then, and it has just remained a number one classic in my brain.
Yeah, me too. Watching it now, it's one of those movies, those rare movies where, if they would have added maybe 15 or 20 minutes to the front end.
I'm just trying to get my phone out for when you ask me to hit you with that synopsis because I have 2 pants on.
May have helped a little bit, but
Why would you think that?
Because it's just, I mean, it's fine because they just say whatever and they go through it, but everything happens so fast.
That's probably why we loved it as kids.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure.
why it's still entertaining now.
Yeah.
I think you add more shit to this, you ruin the movie.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever.
It's a trope movie.
I felt a little whiplash going through it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
Upon moving with his family to the sleepy coastal town of Santa Carla, California, which also serves as the not-so-sleepy murder capital of the world, Michael, Jason Patrick, ends up experimenting with vampirism, as wayfaring teenage boys are so wanton to do. But like all teenage phases, things quickly go awry once the worm-eating parlor tricks turn to bloodthirsty killing sprees, and Michael must decide if he wants to be a found man or the Lost Boys. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, the movie starts and it's a subpar but not too bad rendition of People Are Strange.
It's Echo and the Bunnymen, I believe?
It is. And they're driving through Santa Clara.
You
California.
been there? You're
no,
from California.
because Santa Clara doesn't exist.
Okay.
Diane Wiest is a failed mother.
That's my
She's looking
least.
good in here too.
Yeah, she's cute.
She's a failed mother.
Yeah.
She's hit rock bottom, and now her and her two sons have to move in with her old hippy dippy dad, who makes taxidermy.
And grows weed right outside his kitchen.
Grows
window.
weed right out of it, and he uses Windex as aftershave.
Why don't you use this, girl?
Oh, well, what am I doing? Yeah, the Widow Johnson.
I don't think he does it all the time. I think he's just high.
No.
Corey Haim suggests he's like, yeah, that's
You
a good
can.
idea.
He comes in and he goes, "Is there anything around here that smells like aftershave?" And he's just like, Corey Haim's is totally like
making a
California
joke.
boy.
Yeah.
Grandpa, what about Windex? He goes, huh? Oh yeah, it's the Widow Johnson's gonna like.
A camera died, and these two forgot what part of the plot they were on. After moving to town, they go to the boardwalk. Mom looks for work, and Jason Patrick immediately spots a hot lady.
And it's Jamie Gertz.
Yeah.
Jason Patrick had recommended Jamie Gertz to Schumacher for this role.
Yeah.
And Gertz is rolling around with a young boy, a young Confederate child.
Laddie?
Laddie.
It's
That's
not
his
Laddie.
nickname.
It's Laddie?
Laddie.
It's a bad name.
You know how I know it's Laddie?
Because it says it on the milk carton.
Yeah, why would... I'm like, Laddie must be his vampire name. His gang name. But she's walking around and he's like, oh shit, and he's just like staring at her.
And at the same time...
I still believe. That guy used to tour with Tina Turner.
Yeah, me too. And then so Jason
I
Patrick's
don't like this work. Yeah.
following her around the park.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Haim's like, God, just always trying to get some pussy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he talks to her.
No, he goes, don't you got anything better to do, Sam? And he goes,
Yeah, comic books.
oh, yeah.
You're Owen Wilson.
I am. Oh, wow. Look at these comic books.
Wow.
And so he follows her to the thrusting and the gyrating, pulsating, crowd pumping, whatever songs. And that's when Corey Haim meets the Frog Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Feldman said that at the time Bruckheimer told him to watch a bunch of like Stallone type badass movies.
What's Jerry Bruckheimer talking to Corey Haim about? Joel Schumacher made this movie.
They were friends.
Okay.
It was also produced by
Donald Sutherland.
Richard Donner.
Oh.
And he was going to direct it. But he ended up not being able to because he was directing another movie.
What did Joel Schumacher used to do? Advertising?
Oh, I don't know.
Something like that. We need like a real queer feel to this sexy vampire boy movie.
Yeah.
Get that guy.
Get him in here.
Yeah. We got to fire through this movie.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Can I wait? Can
Right.
I? A couple loose thoughts.
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland and his boys. I said to Jenny, I was like, those are supposed to be sexy boys. And she's like, is it? I mean, right? Is that what it's supposed to be? Because they're not sexy. I was like, no, they're gross. All of them are gross. Pretend you're a lady or that you like boys. You want to fuck them?
No.
They're gross.
Yeah. It's weird because, what do you think? Spoiler alert, Max is the head vampire.
Yeah.
And these are his boys. Did he turn an already existing teenage bike club? Or
Teenage Bike Club?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bike.
Oh.
But bite is very much better.
Okay.
And then they just were already established bros, so they just rolled with them.
I assume he just picked like
Here's
one,
one.
and then
Here, and
they
he just
got
gives
the
them
other.
motorcycles, and
Maybe they just get them. I don't know how connected they are to him. Like, he's their leader, but I think they're doing their own thing mostly.
But here's another question.
They have meetings once a week.
Are they the only ones?
I think there must be more. I mean, the grandpa says there's so many vampires.
Vampires here for the last 30 years, or whatever he says.
How about when Michael goes to the hangout and they're like, here's some Chinese food. They didn't show up with Chinese food, Jules. They didn't bike that Chinese food on their way there. They didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
That means that shit has been sitting in that cave unrefrigerated. And they're like, hey, man, here's some noodles. Here's some rice. You know, rice is real good for you if you let it sit out for a few days.
You know, it's really weird that you mentioned that, and I'm glad you did. This chair's really hurting my butt. Because when they get down to the cave, wow, woo! It's a building that was a resort that was earthquake had sucked it into the ground. So when they get down there, they're like, hey man, how about some food? And he goes, Marco. And then Marco like walks off, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back, and now Marco just has a box with all of these Chinese food boxes in there. And I kind of got the feeling that he actually went to go get it from like a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. And like time had passed when he goes, here, have some rice. And he just takes it and starts eating it. And he goes, how are the maggots, Michael? And he goes, what? And they're all like, hey. And he goes, the maggots. You're eating maggots. And he looks and they're maggots. He goes, fuck. And then he looks down and it's just rice.
Mm-hmm. After it's on the floor.
And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, Michael, my bad. Here, have some noodles. And then he looks and there's writhing earthworms. And he goes, David, those are worms.
Oh, yeah?
Don't eat those. Oh, they're just noodles, Michael. So, I don't know. He's just like accepting of this. That is, either he's so high that he's hallucinating by suggestion,
He's
or
being glamored by them.
The cool parts that I really like and remember.
The Frog Boys?
The Frog Boys in general. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
When they're hanging from the train track, that's iconic. The grandpa keeps giving Corey Haim taxidermied items.
Mm-hmm.
Nanook bites Michael's hand.
Is protecting you.
What you do to my dog, Mike?
And doing to is protecting you.
Look at your reflection.
You're a vampire. I'm telling Mom.
I'm getting out of here. No,
Jenny laughed hard when he said, I'm telling Mom.
Yeah. The Frog Brothers kill Alex Winter.
Mm-hmm. I would actually... Can I say legitimately?
Yeah.
The cave sequence where they go to kill them, scary.
Oh, God, yeah.
I love this movie. I actually found that really fucking scary.
Especially when he's pulling him and he cries.
That's pretty memorable, right? That stupid little vampire tear.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things about this movie, and it's totally the same as Spielberg not showing Jaws. They just keep showing people's reactions to the vampires floating at them. And I'm pretty sure that if you saw the vampires floating at you, it would look so stupid.
Yes.
But not showing them is amazing and potent, and it's wonderful. They show everybody's so fucking scared. Which, I mean, you would be if there were people floating through the air at you with their scary Buffy the Vampire Slayer faces.
And they look grotesque when they are in vamp mode. Especially Max.
So the siege, they got the bathtub full of garlic and holy water.
Yeah, they smartly break everybody apart.
Got arrows.
Sam is in the living room, but it doesn't seem like the same living room where David's fighting Michael.
It doesn't seem the same to you?
Or it is,
I mean, they're
but he
floating
leaves.
up there, but then there's also the taxidermy.
Well, I guess they don't meet each other initially. So Billy Wirth, he's in the living room fucking with Sam. Blonde-haired guy, he is chasing
the Frog Bros.
The Frog Bros.
You're mine! You killed Marco! Yeah, you're next! You're next!
Whatever, dude.
God,
don't work on me. And he goes, how about holy water? He sprays him with the gun. Mm-hmm. And he falls into the bathtub.
Nah, man, Nanook jumps him.
Nanook jumps him. Yeah, that's right. And then it's bubbling. And then he comes up and he's a skeleton.
Uh-huh.
And then
all the pipes explode in the house.
Yeah. The plumbing is just possessed.
I thought it was crazy when this happened because I was like, all right, it's plausible that like vampires could exist, right? There's like these other things that feed off of you. Sure, but then they're so poisonous and evil that every plumbing fixture in the house explodes.
Corey Haim, him and Billy Worth, he shoots a bow at him, an arrow at him using a bow. And it misses, but he falls and pretends like he's dead. Then he gets up, he goes, "You missed, sucker."
Once, pal.
And the arrow hits him, and he, what? So
I'm being turned into the
impactful.
stereo.
And yeah, and it's weird because he hits the stereo and it starts sparking. And then there's a quick insert shot to show that the cable is plugged in. And then it cuts back like we wouldn't believe that it's possible unless we saw that. I don't think that stereo might be plugged in.
Vampire magic.
It's such a weird shot to insert a shot of the cable plugged into the wall so that we know that it's being powered. But so then, yeah, I mean, David and Michael fight. It's super hella memorable. And the mom comes home with Max, and Max is just like, oh, geez. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm the vampire. I want you, Lucy. I want you, juicy Lucy.
I take your boys, make them vampires. We'll be a family.
Yeah, Michael's knocked out.
Everybody gets a dirt bike.
And he's about to bite Mom when all of a sudden... And now Max is dead and everybody's fine. Laddie's going to go home.
And Grandpa delivers the line.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
The end. It lost its charm a little bit for you?
Just a little bit. I think I'm just nitpicking because I was coming off of like some good movies.
Yeah.
And I just wanted this to be more than... It's still what it is, and those scenes that I remember really well.
It's still exciting and fun. It's not the perfect movie I remember.
Nope.
But it's still a real good movie. Okay, movie rating?
I'm going to give this...
8?
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
What do you give it on the Spookometer?
Oh, I mean... I don't know, 0.5.
Oh, I'm going to give it a 2.5 because I'm legitimately terrified when they're in that fucking cave.
Up next, The Signal from 2007.
2007. This is a founding block of our friendship.
Yeah.
When we met, we talked about The Signal.
I stumbled upon this at a video store. I think it was 4-Star Video in Madison, Wisconsin. And I brought it home and I was just like, wow, this really sucks. Because they... insert the Hapgood story.
The movie within the movie that they're watching.
Are they?
Yeah, nobody's watching.
It just goes right to The Signal. So it feels like, I don't know. They filmed this in Atlanta.
Hotlanta?
Yes.
Thank you.
Which originally was known as...
Chocolate City.
Terminus.
Oh, really?
Which is the name of the city in the movie.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was a really stupid thing to call it.
Because I think it was just like a train town.
When a mysterious signal suddenly takes over all forms of radio waves and communication bandwidths, turning people into rational, homicidal maniacs, a handful of random survivors who haven't yet been fully corrupted must attempt to make sense of what is happening and find salvation in order to survive.
The Signal.
That Signal.
Yeah, it's a good premise. It's a good idea.
Uh-huh.
1 minute you're watching the Hapgood story, and the next minute you're inundated with mind fuckery. So Maya's sleeping with Ben. They're having an affair. Maya's married to Lewis. They want to run away from each other on a train.
We'll go to the country and start a life. Maya and Ben. New Year's Eve, Terminal 13, Maya and Ben.
She's decided she doesn't like Lewis. This is her first time having an affair.
And she tries to call him, but the phone don't work. The TV's all wackadoodle.
Everything makes a weird noise.
She gets home. People are weird in her building. Somebody maybe is following her. There's people just yelling and arguing, creepy. And it's like unnerving.
Is the sun coming up?
She leaves his house at like midnight, yeah. But yet when they get there, it seems like Rod, Lewis, and the other guy are just like beginning to watch the game.
And you know, the night games.
But the TV's all fucked up, and Lewis is just like, where were you? She's like, oh, I went out to dinner with the girls. She had blood on her.
There was a man in the parking lot that was bleeding and asked for help, and I was like, no. And then another man ran up to the car, and it was super scary. Julian.
Yeah.
This movie's scary. I forgot. I love this movie. Yeah. I haven't watched it in a long time. I completely forgot that it is straight up scary.
So, shit's popping off. Violence is happening. Lewis is losing it. He starts beating his friend to death with a bat. He keeps telling Maya to take a shower. Mm-hmm. Rod's flipping. Now him and Rod are wrestling. Maya runs next door. Her friend is like violently cradling her, like, it's okay. And then a guy comes up and cuts her throat with gardening shears. No, he cuts a different woman's throat with gardening shears.
It's totally The Exorcist.
Her. Yeah, and then he's about to get Maya, and he goes, wait a second. He goes like this. Wait.
This movie is pretty fucking funny, too. Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting balance of things that make me laugh a lot, but also, like, it horrifies and upsets me, too.
The basic idea is shit's popping off. She's now just trying to get away, and she's hoping that if shit's popping off by Ben, he might meet her.
They had already discussed their nonsense plan of...
Even though it was sort of tentative. She runs into Rod, who is like, are you crazy?
She doesn't run into Rod. She's trying to escape the building, and Rod yanks her into his apartment and starts being super scary with her.
Did you get crazy in your head? How am I supposed to know? Tell me.
He explains, all of a sudden, 1 in every 2 people just started killing each other and going nuts, but they know what they're doing. And
I'm watching them from up on the roof.
He took one of those candles that's like got a curly feet, and it stands up, and you put the candle in it, a holder. He took one of those and he put a bunch of butcher knives in it, and he duct taped it up. So he's just got like a big wielding death machine, and he's just fucking people up. But he's also capturing people who he thinks aren't crazy, taping and tying them up. And
I got this thing to let me.
Now you look like Danhausen. So he's taping and tying up people who he thinks aren't crazy, but thus leaves them vulnerable to be murdered.
I think he's killing them.
No, he says everybody that he taped up, they all died. So they decide to leave.
Roger? Is that you? Keep walking, Ron.
Wait.
And then he starts butchering a woman, and Maya gets into her car.
Do you have the crazy?
At which point Rod gets shot, and then he starts butchering a woman, and Maya gets into her car, and she's just torn and starts to drive away, and Rod's like, no! And he's like 85 feet away from her.
Are you crazy in your head, Jules?
And she stops and lets him get in. I'm like, just keep going.
Yeah.
Rod's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's shot.
And he's got that
he's got that
hammer hole in his head.
So he gets in, and they're driving. He's like, you were going to leave me, you bitch.
Shut up! Shut up! I'm not saying anything. What are you doing?
And she just fucking, because he doesn't have his seatbelt on.
She makes a really good choice.
She crashes.
Love it.
So now Rod's fucked, and she gets out of the car, and Clark comes running up with a shovel, I think. And he goes, are you all right? She goes, leave me the fuck alone. I'm going to the train depot, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. So he grabs Rod and drags Rod inside, and then Rod starts to wrestle with him. And they fight for the shovel, and Clark just lops his head off with a nonchalant chop of the shovel. And now Rod's dead. And so Clark goes to Anna, and Anna is about to throw a party, but mayhem's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband's dead. And Clark comes in and he's like, what happened? And her husband just starts choking her.
Yeah, with a really scary look on his
face. At first she's like, Ken.
Right here, right now?
And then he goes,
you're hurting me.
So Clark's like, oh, word, okay. Well, shit's bad right now. And then all of a sudden, that's when Lewis shows up.
Don't let him in.
And she lets him in.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I'm here for the extermination or whatever.
Have you seen Maya?
Yeah. No, what? And then he's hallucinating. They're doing really rudimentary, easy to decipher sleight of hand, where bodies are. It's Maya, but then a camera goes over his shoulder and it's Anna.
Okay.
You know, they keep switching throughout the scene.
I tried to make Jenny watch this like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we got to the funny part, the middle part, which I always thought was hilarious. Too disturbing for her. When they keep spraying the people in the eyes with the bug
I tried
spray.
to get a girl to watch this with me too, and I completely forgot how severely left turn that scene goes.
This middle part's really funny a lot of the time.
The comedic timing and performances are stellar.
They bounce off each other really well, but then it's also like, but this is also a really bad situation and really horrible things are happening.
Come on. You're trying to tell me Jim Parsons isn't one of the greatest movie characters of all time?
Are you fucking serious? This guy's so fucking funny, the way he rolls up in this bitch.
What?
He's talking about getting pussy.
Oh, I'm early. Early? The shindig. The fiesta? It's tonight, right? It better be. If that ball drops, I'm gonna grab a slut and I'm just gonna pee in her butt.
I forgot that line existed.
Where's my wife? I didn't even know you were married. I just met
That's
you.
kind of cool.
Yeah. He's like a dickhead, but he's kind of great.
Yeah, like
I don't know that you would hate him if he was your friend.
No.
Like he'd say some fucked up shit, but you'd be like, I mean, he's a good dude.
I would totally fuck an Indian girl. I would.
Jim Parsons has no idea that anything has happened.
No.
He thinks it's regular.
Yeah, he just wants to get laid. I hope she has some cute friends. So he gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And
does he officially get
I
killed?
think he smashes him.
Okay.
Does he smash him?
I don't know.
Because then he stabs Clark in the arms. He's stabbed to a chair, and he's just spraying the shit out of Anna.
Yeah.
Puts it in her mouth. She's screaming. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, I think that's when Jenny tapped out.
That's when the girl I was watching it with, whomever that was just like, I said, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you realize violence against women is a real scary thing for women.
Yeah.
And we're just like, it's a movie. We like the movie. Yeah, but...
The more I see it at this age, yeah, I get it. But back then, I didn't... It could have been any character. It's just the extreme violence to me was just like, whoa, this was like funny, and now it's not. So Ben, he's been going around this whole time. He showed up at their apartment. Lewis beats him up. And now he shows up and he saves Clark from Lewis.
I mean, it all sucks because when Rod yanks, what's her name?
Maya
into the apartment.
Yeah.
He walks by 3 seconds later. He just missed her getting yanked in the apartment.
Well, and then when she and Rod speed off, he falls out of the front door of the building.
Man, come back.
And so
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Come back.
So Ben and Clark are teaming up. Clark had his mind scrambled, but he's kind of there a little bit. He's talking about like what he thinks is going on, and he's got tinfoil on his head.
Geodes and resistors.
And they're going to the train station, which is a convention center. They know Lewis is on his way there, and they're pretty sure Maya's there.
It sucks because Ben could have killed Lewis.
I would have just left him tied up.
He gets away every time you tie him up.
But he's tied up, and Ben's freeing him. He's still tied up, and he goes, "You're him." And for some reason, Ben then just continues to untie him. And then they fight. He busts him up. I would have just been like, I am him. You know what? I'm going to get out of here.
But he had that fantasy about crushing Lewis's head with that pest control container. And this is after witnessing Lewis do lots of bad things. Or maybe he didn't see them, but
yeah,
he really should have killed Lewis.
He should have.
I would have killed Lewis,
Yeah.
but you've killed Lewis?
Absolutely.
We would have done the right thing.
I would have just lit the building on fire with him knocked out in it.
Oh, sure.
So they get to the train depot, and he sees Maya, and her face is completely removed.
That's great. Great effect.
And the movie's over.
Oh, she did. Somebody pulled her face off.
No, it's not her.
Somebody thought it was pizza, and they pulled it off and ate it.
This is a good scene. Ben gets to really lose his shit. The actor's pretty good here.
And then Clark is like,
It's nobody, man.
Brah.
It's nobody.
Brah, there's actually nobody there, brah.
But then they do find her, and she's tied up to a chair, and she's watching the TV, and she's just twitching.
She's Paimon.
And Lewis is there, and they fight a little bit more. But then all of a sudden, Ben's like, what the fuck are you doing to my wife?
Huh. Wait, that's my wife.
I don't know who you think you are, but that's my wife.
Oh, fuck, I'm not Lewis.
And I'm Lewis. What?
It's Lewis. I picture everything now. I was hurting Lewis, so who am I?
Yeah.
Who are any of us?
And then he punches the TV and it electrocutes him and kills him.
To death.
Yeah. Death by television.
Mm-hmm.
And now Ben, he puts his headphones on her because she's all vegged out.
Uh-huh.
And then you see them run away and live happily ever after. But that's not the case.
Let's say goodbye to
she's brain
Clark.
dead.
What?
It comes back after that, and she's just in the chair. He puts the music on her head at that point, and a singular tear goes down her cheek. Yep. He imagined fleeing with her.
No, I know they established that, although I was like, well, maybe this is the in-between moment, but I don't think she's brain dead.
Yeah.
No.
She's
What?
lost forever.
No. Are you serious right now, or are you joking?
No.
This is what you think happens?
What, you think he heals her?
I mean, it doesn't melt you forever. It's just a stupid signal.
She was freebasing it, apparently.
Hey, Nighthouse, 763-634-1897. Whichever one of you wrote this. Maybe that third guy who doesn't have a picture. Did you make this movie? We feel strongly about this movie and love it. What happens to Maya? Maybe we should email Maya.
Yeah.
Hey, Maya.
So the last movie of the night.
Wait, we didn't give this a rating.
The Signal, I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to give it an 8. I love this movie.
Word. Spooky?
Bro?
Did it give you a...
Yeah, it gave me a spooky feeling. I completely forgot that this movie is spooky. I'm going to give it a 6.
Oh, wow.
This movie fucks me up.
I give it a 2. So the last movie of the night, this was one of yours.
Yeah, I picked it.
What brought you to this?
Well, because I saw it somewhere and it's got low ratings, and I was like, you know what? Throw it in the mix because I saw it when I was little.
Okay.
I very clearly remember seeing the Emilio Estevez one a couple times when I was little.
I'd never seen this, I don't think.
Okay.
And I didn't like it.
No, it's terrible.
It was god awful, but it moved at a clip, so...
Do you want me to just jump into the synopsis?
Yeah.
Just when you thought it was safe to star in a random piece of shit 80s horror anthology movie, things go from worse to your worst nightmares, 1983. Okay, so the first one.
Yeah.
Lady needs cigarettes. There's a escaped lunatic on the loose. Earlier in the movie, cop pulls over a hot lady, I guess, and he lets her go without a warning, and then he hears something in the bush. He's like, who there? Who there? And they get stabbed real good. Left to die, although he's not dead. Yes.
This movie was like suspiciously bereft of sound effects, right?
Oh, I didn't notice.
You didn't notice?
No.
First off, I didn't hear whatever was drawing him to the bush.
You didn't hear the crinkle crackles?
Second, when he comes out with the knife, it's like there's like no sound.
Thud, thud.
It's like, no, I'm just doing that. That's more sound than this movie. There's no sound.
I don't know if that is okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this woman, she's living in a really huge A-frame house with her husband and a child.
Kids. 2 kids? 1 kid? 1 kid, 2 kids, 5 kids, 7 kids.
It's one kid sawed in half. She goes, "Where's the other carton of cigarettes?" And he ignores her. She goes, "I'm out of cigarettes. I gotta go to the store and get some cigarettes."
There's a serial killer, though.
No, he's not a serial killer. He's just a mad murderer.
There's a mental patient stabbing everybody to death.
Not that, but he's escaped from jail and he's on the loose.
He's a stabbing machine.
In Topanga.
Yeah, but I need some cigarettes.
I'm out of cigarettes.
And then he goes upstairs and she just sneaks out. So she's driving. She drives past, I don't know, 3 or 4 gas stations. She goes to a place. She gets some milk. Guy goes, "Hey, about that killer."
Did you hear about that highway patrolman getting stabbed up here?
And she goes, "Yeah, aren't you scared?" He's like, "I got this gun."
Oh, I like that guy.
This guy reading a porno.
The guy's from Stuff.
Yeah. Phantasm. And so she gets the milk, she gets the cigs, she's driving, and she goes, "Oops, out of gas."
He's not the tall man. Are you implying he's the tall man?
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind. And so she stops in all these places, can't get gas. She stops in another place, and the fake Brad Dourif, who's the bartender from Deadwood.
Bro, it's Daryl from Newhart.
I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl.
That's my other brother, Daryl.
Is that their names? The Daryls?
Mm-hmm. And she thinks he's crazy and he seems creepy, and then all of a sudden drags her out of the car, and she's just like, and gets away from him, but he pulls out a gun and he points it.
And she's like, oh my God, he's going to kill me.
And he's just got the worst shot ever. But then it comes to find out that the killer had gotten into her car and he killed him because he saw him in there.
Yeah.
And
it's over.
She gets home and she throws the carton of cigarettes in the trash.
I never smoking again. This is like conceptually pretty good. I feel like you needed an extra level and an extra 10 minutes to make this worth anything. But right off the bat, I was like, oh, this might be kind of good. Like that didn't quite do it, but this movie might be good. I kind of liked it.
I thought, okay, we're dealing with like urban legend campfire
Right.
stuff.
It was very like a Cliff Notes version of that, and it was just over.
And then I'm thinking, that was really fast. Is it over?
I thought she was going to get home and her whole family was dead. And that guy was there.
Something else. Because that was like 10, 15 minutes, man. So the next one.
Emilio Estevez, video game hustler with his little Corey Haim-like sidekick.
Is that the next one?
It is the next one.
There's 4, right?
Yeah. So he's trying to hustle up money to play a video game at the mall that he's really into.
Yeah.
And he goes to the bad part of town.
Him and the fake McDreamy.
Where the essays are. You don't think this looks like a little Corey Haim? This looks like a little Lucas.
No, it looks
Corey
like a
Haim.
little McDreamy to me.
Okay. Maybe the two of them had a baby and sent it in the time machine back to be around the same age as them.
When he called Emilio Estevez's mom later, I was like, why is she saying Zach so weird?
What's his name?
Zoc.
Shut the... Is it really? His name is Zoc?
Zoc, is that you?
And she's saying that, and I'm like, what kind of an accent is that? She's going really soft on that A. And then I saw the credits. I was like, his name was fucking Zoc?
Oh, Zoc, honey.
Is it with 2 A's? No, it's an O.
Z-O-C-K.
Like Spock, but Zoc.
Like, where? What? But, so yeah, Emilio Estevez and Zoc, they're rolling around in downtown L.A.
Hustling the gangbangers.
It's such a poor hustle. Because the guy goes, he's got on a hairnet. It's over his ears. And he goes, hey, S.A., you want to play the game, S.A.? He goes, yeah, shucks.
Hey, man, that's a great score. Yeah, you want to play?
Oh, no, JJ. You'll end up losing that $10 you got cutting old man Harris's lawn.
Shut up, Zoc. I don't always lose.
Plaids is what they're playing. And he goes, we got to get out of here. Tell you what, man, how about one more game? He goes, no way. You want to lose your more money?
Yeah, $100, $1,000.
Yeah. So it was $1 a game, bare minimum of 5 games, and he lost all 5. Now he's coming back like, why don't we play one more for $25? Yeah. You think the guy would just be like, dude, you're running a scam here.
You know, I don't know. This sounds like a little too good to be true, but I don't have that kind of money. Let me go talk to the head gang leader that uses a cane. We hang out in the arcade.
And he goes, all right, man, put your money up. He puts on his Walkman headset and he's just gaming. And this little boy's looking at him really weird the whole time.
This little 9-year-old just keeps marching.
What the fuck is he doing?
I remember now. That dude's named JJ Cooley. He's the best, man. Best who ever was. You guys can hustle.
That's Jenkum Jones. He's the best video game player on the planet.
That's JJ Honky Tonk. And he goes, oh, really? And he goes, oh, wow, I totally beat that guy's score. Beginner's luck. And he goes, your name Honky Tonk? He goes,
no.
What? And then they're about to kill him, but there's a cop there.
They're going to kill him.
There's a cop there looking at some other guys. So he goes, hey, Cheez-It. It's the Fuzz.
Hey, Cheez-It?
Yeah.
It's the Fuzz. Who's Cheez-It?
No, hey, Cheez-It. Stop.
Oh.
It's the Fuzz.
Is that a real
Police.
phrase?
Yeah. It's ancient, but yeah. Cheez-It. It's the Fuzz. So the cop gives them enough time to just casually walk out and run away and get on a bus before the gang can get to them. And they get home, but he goes, hey, how about we go to the mall and play one more game of this game I'm really obsessed with? And Zach goes, nah, man, I gotta leave.
I gotta go home.
This mall is so fucking majestic.
I miss malls being a mall thing. Do you kind of? I wish we could go like in a time machine and hang out at the mall in 1984.
Because this is a fucking mall.
Could we do that? Could somebody hook us up with a time machine? We go in 1984.
This mall outmalls the Mall of America.
Oh shit!
It's like 4 levels.
Yeah,
just crammed with shit.
Mm-hmm.
Stores and teenagers and
Spencer's Gifts, Macy's,
and pretzels and. So they go to the arcade, and there's a game there, apparently, that Johnny JJ Roustabout can't beat. There's 13 levels. And I'm trying to figure out how this game works, because it's like a Tron maze shooter. He's got a dial, which, okay, makes sense. If the character stays in one place, you use the dial to turn around and spin.
But they show you 2 different viewpoints.
But he's moving. And then there's buttons above it. And then he's also got a gun that he can freely aim. So why does the character need to move? It should just be it's too advanced for me. And everybody's watching. I'm like,
this shit's for the future.
Go, JJ, go! And that girl, Moon Zappa.
It is Moon Zappa. Moon Unit Zappa.
Oh, and she's like, yeah.
You are good, Earthling, but not good enough.
And he fails. She goes, hey, JJ, let's go get some pizza, man.
No, I don't care about pussy.
I don't eat anymore.
The bishop.
And the guy working there, he goes, you got to get out of here, JJ.
JJ sucks assholes.
He is a bitch.
When I was little, I felt bad about what happens to him because I like Emilio Estevez. Rewatching this, he is a mega cunt to everybody. He is such a piece of shit.
I'm your best customer, Willie. You shouldn't treat me like that. I'm gonna get back at you. Go home, Cooney. I promise you that, man. I'm gonna get back at you.
His dad's just trying to be a cool guy. He's having a beer. He just wants to chill.
Come on, man.
I gotta go. No, son, that game's rotting you.
You need to be getting good grades. What are you fucking doing?
Look at this pork card. You think this pork card is good?
God, pork card?
Yeah, and the mom's putting on facial cream like she's the crow.
Why don't you just listen to me for one second?
I've listened long enough.
No, you haven't. There's gonna be no more. There's gonna be no more stealing quarters. No more late nights at the arcade. No more any of that.
Enough. I've heard enough. Go to your room.
No.
Yes. Go
Why?
to your room.
You always send me to my room.
I've said my
You sit
piece.
there in that chair and you make judgments on me.
JJ, why are you being such a brat? And he goes, fuck you both. Go to hell. And he goes to his room. Yeah. And he climbs down a electrical conduit pipe to go break into the mall with the screwdriver that we see he has.
That's what that is? Electrical, there's wires in there?
Yeah. It's not a downspout or anything. So he uses the screwdriver to just get in and plugs in the game. And he's like, I'm going to beat you. And he starts beating
I am the bishop. Welcome. I have 13 levels.
And this is where this movie loses me.
Oh, really? At this point? It loses you now.
I believed it up until this point. And now it's just not, I can't vibe with it.
Well, you know what? I think that's the fear inside of you because you love video games.
Yeah.
And this could happen to you.
So JJ, there's 13 levels in this game, as we've already established. JJ beats level 12.
And, he keeps saying, no, man, there's this guy in Chicago. He's got to level 13 twice.
Mm-hmm. So now that JJ has beaten level 12, he's administered the invite to level 13. And all of a sudden, the game starts sparking and firing up and blows up.
You have just reached level 13. Welcome. Let's begin.
I beat you. But he didn't. Because he only beat level 12. He didn't beat 13. So even if the game collapses and he can no longer play it, he didn't beat it.
That's an interesting outlook.
So then all of a sudden, JJ's got the gun in his hand and the things are coming to life and it's total 1983 CGI.
Mm-hmm.
It's flying, but not really. And JJ's pew, 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 and then it just inundates him and starts threatening him and the place is getting wrecked. And he runs outside and the head is like, I got you, JJ.
Stay away from me!
He throws his gun like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Don't eat this anymore. I guess I'm safe. They haven't been attacking me for 30 seconds.
So Zach and his family are looking for him. They eventually get to the mall the next day, and the guy at the mall is like, oh shit, my arcade's destroyed, my livelihood.
I can't believe it's still so fucked up. I thought that game would put it all back together because it put itself back together.
And they go in, and from like 60 feet away, Zoc looks at the game.
Progressively harder level.
He's got you.
Try me if you dare. Insert coin.
It's JJ.
JJ, they got you.
Mom's like,
and then
Dad's
he disappears, and then he's the guy. He's that character that's in there.
And the movie is now on chapter 3.
This movie sucks. So
which
far.
is a priest played by Lance Henriksen. He's drinking. He's not believing in the Lord. He's trying to give a eulogy to a young Hispanic boy at his funeral.
Very upset about this kid dying.
And then people are crying, and he's just like, whatever.
There is no God. There is no evil.
Yeah.
He's mainly like, there's no such thing as evil.
And the priest is played by the guy that we know.
Okay, so
the priest loses faith, and he's leaving.
He's like, you guys are cool, but I gotta go.
And the other priest is filling up the holy water in a weird container, filling up the holy water from a weird container. And he just, Lance Henriksen grabs it. And he goes,
need that shit.
I'm going to need some water while I'm driving. And he goes,
we're in Mexico. It's the desert.
Holy water. He goes, man, that's dumb.
As you're about to find out, there's like nothing between here and there.
So this movie clearly inspired Death Proof. So he's driving, and all of a sudden a Chevy pickup truck from hell is fucking with him. Drives him off the road a couple times. All
Black
of a sudden,
truck. They got an upside down cross hanging from the mirror.
All of a sudden, it drives up from out of the earth.
I was like, kind of like, all right, this is stupid. But then when it erupted from the earth, I was like, this is the dumbest shit I have ever seen.
I was like, you know what? That's really dumb looking, but kudos for doing something I didn't expect.
Why are you a devil truck that comes out of the earth?
Come out of the ground, yeah.
Why isn't it just a monster?
So it's about to kill him, and he throws the holy water at it, and it vanishes.
Doesn't it just like blink out of existence?
It does.
Like some early,
like the Wraith.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the cops are there, and the ambulance guys are fixing him up, and they go, "Well, geez, mister, we don't see any signs of another vehicle."
No, I know he was there when there's just one set of tire tracks. The devil was carrying me the whole time.
If you ask me, you're lucky. So they go, well, we're halfway between two places. This place where you were going, full of debauchery, and this other place, your church. And he goes, oh, take me back to the church. So that's the end of that one. And then the final one, there's a gigantic rat underneath the house of the dad from License to Drive.
This specific one I felt was unbearable.
It's the longest one too. I feel
it's
like
awful. I saved that. I watched this morning.
Yeah, I thought, oh, the rat. It's controlling the dad. That's why he's a total prick.
He's an asshole.
He's a total asshole.
The swimming pool, I take it we still want to put it in?
Oh, yeah, Daddy, of course we do.
Well, we're going to, Tina. But the way we're going to is by not wasting a lot of money on things like cleaning ladies twice a week and shyster rat catchers who come out and look for droppings once a month. We did agree that there are certain things we're going to start doing around here all by ourselves, didn't we, Claire?
If not for this rat intervening, he probably would have started physically abusing his wife. So they don't know what's going on because the cat's missing, and then all of a sudden there's huge holes in the wall.
Dude,
an old Jewish guy is like, hey, you got this Dolphinskeimer.
Can I talk a little bit about this under where the cat gets eaten?
Yeah, the crawl space.
The cat goes in the crawl space. It's looking around. It looks right at something we don't see. You know, cat's got them night eyes.
Yeah.
So it knows what's over there, and then it walks by and gets killed by it. Why would the cat do that? The cat wouldn't do that. The cat would back its way out of there. The cat would not be killed by this.
No, because for one, I don't know if you've ever seen, cats have quite possibly the greatest reflexes of all animals. Like, there's videos of them almost being struck by, like, poisonous snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, whoa! Matrix dodging that shit. They kill a normal rat. It turns out that it's that rat's baby, and it really wants it back. And it's just totally destroying their house.
My name is Kiefer, Mr. Houston. You've got an unusually aggressive visitor, sir. I've really never
Do you know
seen
that it
anything
is
like
killed, Rosie? I found her underneath
Apparently,
the
my
house.
wife misunderstood me. I was under the impression we'd agreed I was going to handle this problem by myself.
Stephen, you can't handle this problem
How
by
much do I owe you, Mr. Kiefer?
It's the Luffenwagen or some shit.
This is all stupid because if you have a mystical rat mom, would you be living in a house where you're going to get killed by people?
Does it eat the dead body? It seems like it's like doing with that. I tell you what.
Oh, I thought it was cleaning it.
I tell you what. That rat effect at the end, it wasn't great. But
like when it grabs that little piece of wood, it's like,
I like when it jumps out the window. They actually got it to jump onto something that it looked like it was jumping onto the dresser. And then out the window. Yeah.
Am I the rat? I did good?
And the mom's like, don't you shoot the baby. He's like, I know, bitch. And then it's dead. Or no, it leaves to go somewhere else. That family does not live happily ever after. They probably break up shortly thereafter.
Not good.
As a movie, I would give this a 2.
Yeah.
On the Spookometer, I give it a negative 15. It owes me.
I will give it a 1 because I find it mildly tense in that first sequence when she's like scared.
Okay.
Oh, all right, a 0.5.
No, whatever.
This movie sucks balls.
It does.
I thought it's so funny to going from like, this might be good. This first one was not great, but I bet you the rest is gonna be good. No, all of them are so much worse than that.
It's interesting that VHS is really the only horror anthology on the market now. Because back then they were just making them apparently
all the time.
I didn't remember any of these, and then they got Creepshow, they got this, they
Tales from the Dark Side, they got that Tales from the Crypt from the 70s. They got all the shit.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Happy Halloween! Today's Halloween. Hey, it is Halloween right now.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. Smell my feet.
Give me something good to eat.
Yeah, if you don't, I don't care.
Stick it in your underwear.
Yep, it's a turd.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, Freddy's coming for me.
763-634-1897.
If you call us, try to scare us with a boo.
Yeah, do that. And then you should scare us by reviewing us on Apple Podcasts and pick a movie of your choice.
Yeah, give us a rating and a review, and then you can put a movie in there and we'll watch it.
Yeah, we will. We will do that. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
You can email us at wedoinfilmographies@gmail.com. You can go to our link tree on Instagram, We Doing Filmographies.
Yeah.
Find all of our footsteps.
You know what else?
You could watch We Doing Boners.
It's weird because she's passionate, I would say. But I throughout the majority of this film, I never got crazy. A little...
She burned down a house?
Anger management issues.
Yeah.
You know, but not just like things are telling her to do this or...
No, true.
You
But
know what I
at
mean?
one point, it's almost like he's implying like, once a month for 7 days, she goes crazy.
And when it is time for your period, hold on to your f***ing hat.
Coming up next on We Doing Boners, Black Snake Moan.
Oh.
You just tipped your hat, now they know.
What's coming up? Yeah, beep that.
Yeah. I am probably right now with my children eating their candies.
Hang on a second.
It's bleep beep.
What's it behind you?
It's July. My soul can't rest until I get some candy.